What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Leo Pazzo Productions. Thank you very much for tuning in. In today's video, we're going to be having a closer look at this brand new product over here made by Cinetreak. This is the Stream 1, the all-in-one live streaming video switcher, recorder, encoder. It is jammed packed, I'm telling you, with so many features. I'm going to be sharing with you guys everything you need to know about this product throughout the course of this video, and I'm actually using it right now to record this video because we can record our live stream onto an SD card or a USB stick or an external drive, for an example, like a SSD. It is jam-packed with so many features. Just to name a few that come to mind, it can support up to 4K 60 frames per second. 4K 60 frames per second. Yes, you heard me right, on HDMI input 1 and HDMI input number 2. As far as HDMI input number 3 and 4, it can support up to 1080p 60 frames per second. We can live stream up to 2 social media platforms directly from this video switcher at 1080p 60 frames per second. It also has a USB 3.0 UVC output, which I am actually taking advantage of right now. I'm sending whatever my program is from my video switcher over here, the Stream 1, to my PC in OBS, and I'm actually recording in OBS as well, or I can even live stream from OBS if you would like to. This Stream 1 is also capable of PTZ control, so I'm actually using 2 PTZ cameras, or actually should I say 3 PTZ cameras connected to this Stream 1, and I do have full control of the pan, tilt, and zoom, and along with being able to save some presets right over here and call up those presets. So guys, to start off, I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys my setup for this video. So currently right now, you guys are looking at my HDMI input number 1, which is coming from my PTZ camera, which is set to 4K 30 frames per second, because that is the maximum what that camera is capable of outputting via HDMI. So what I'm gonna do over here is actually just go through each one of my inputs, and we're gonna talk about the audio and along with the menu and the settings and all that kind of stuff. So stick with me. Let's go ahead and talk about HDMI 1. So HDMI input number 1, as we talked about, 4K 30 frames per second. But if you guys have not noticed, this is actually a green screen background. This is not real, and I'm doing this right over here onto the Stream 1. So just to go ahead and show you guys the green screen before and after the chroma key, let me go ahead and show you guys the before. 1, 2, and 3. Boom, just like that. This is the before, and just like that, within the menu settings, very easy and actually pretty accurate. If you guys cannot tell, look at the after. 1, 2, 3, and bingo, just like that, chroma key. Really nice to be able to do all of this right here onto the Stream 1. No need for a PC to be able to configure this chroma key green screen. Really impressed with that. Let's go ahead and have a closer look at my HDMI input number 2. So I'm just going to pull it up over here onto the preview. HDMI input number 2. Let's go ahead and make a cut. So here we are, HDMI input number 2, which is coming from another PTZ camera set to 4K 30 frames per second, because that is the maximum what this PTZ camera is capable of. And just kind of giving you guys a close-up shot over here of the actual Stream 1 itself, and also my external monitor, what I have over here, which is showing me my program output, just to kind of reference my program output. Let's go ahead and have a closer look at my top-down view camera, which is the Panasonic GH6, which is my HDMI input number 3, which is configured the resolution to be set at 1080p 30 frames per second. So let's go ahead, HDMI input number 3, and bingo, HDMI input number 3, top down view. I think this is a fantastic view for you guys, so you guys can actually see my setup, the Stream 1, my external monitor, my receiver for the wireless microphone that I'm using. This is my HDMI input number 4 camera, which is the OBSBot tail air, which is set to 1080p 30 frames per second. And you guys have a little glimpse over here of my external monitor, which I have set up for my multi-view. Let's go ahead and have a closer look at the HDMI input number 4, the OBSBot tail air. So I'm just going to go ahead and click over here onto my program, HDMI input number 4, and bingo, here we have the view from this PTZ camera, 1080p 30 frames per second. So why don't we go ahead and briefly just talk about the PTZ feature, because I really do like it. To be honest with you, I just recently purchased a separate PTZ controller for my PTZ cameras, and now I got the Stream 1, which has that control and those presets built right into it, which is phenomenal. I'm actually really impressed with that. So why don't I go back over here, and I'm going to show you guys this top-down view. And to be honest with you, I think it might be a good idea for me to go ahead and zoom in so you guys can have basically a nice view of what buttons I'm kind of pressing over here. So how do we control these PTZ cameras? Well, first off, each one of your PTZ cameras need to be connected to a network cable so they can basically be on an IP address, the same IP address as the Stream 1. So first off, if you want to have control of those PTZ cameras, once you've configured it all within the menu, which we will look at shortly, what you want to do over here is press this camera button, and bingo, now we press the camera button and you can see that it's flashing. And we do also have control over here of the zoom in and zoom out, and along with some of the presets. So let's go to HDMI input number 2. I'm going to be using this joystick over here to be able to pan, tilt, and zoom. So let's just go ahead and pan left. Let's go ahead and pan right. Let's tilt up. Let's tilt down. And why don't we go ahead and zoom out over here, because I'm already zoomed in quite a bit. And the image coming from this PTZ camera is actually pretty impressive as well. So you guys can kind of see the behind the scenes over here, and you can see how easy it is to be able to control this camera, which is actually really nice. It's set to manual exposure and autofocus as well. So the performance from the PTZ camera and just the fact that it all works over here is really nice. So why don't I go ahead and show you now basically how I've saved those presets of this PTZ camera, so I can go through those presets. So for me to actually go through the presets, next what I want to do over here is press this position button. So let's go ahead and press the position button over here. And what you will notice is all of these on air buttons here at the top are illuminated in red. And that is because it's basically now allowing me to have those presets either saved or to call up those presets. So I've already saved a few of them. This is preset number 1. Let's just go ahead and press it again just to kind of make sure that it's back to preset number 1. Here is preset number 2, which is basically giving you guys just a closer look of the Stream 1. Let's go to preset number 3. Preset number 3 is just kind of backing out, showing you the PTZ camera. And preset number 4 is just zooming in over here on that PTZ camera. Here's preset number 5, which is giving you guys a closer look at that PTZ camera, which is the HDMI input number 1. That's the one that I'm using the chroma key. Let's go to preset number 6 over here. Preset number 6 is showing you guys my multi-view screen over here, which is showing me my 4 HDMI inputs, my preview, my program, my auxiliary, my pattern, basically my image, along with all of my menu and everything that I have over here. So I can call up my menu and kind of go navigate through this. We will get more familiar with this shortly. Let's go to the last preset over here, which is preset number 7. Again, similar to what you guys saw earlier, basically just a little behind the scenes of the overall setup over here. So let's go back to preset number 1. Now that you guys are a little bit more familiar with the PTZ controls. Next, what I want to do over here, just to kind of get you guys a little bit more familiar, I want to get you guys more familiar with this multi-view screen and the menu and all the settings and the layout and all of that. So what we're going to do over here is actually come over here within the menu, and I'm going to come over here to the port, and I'm going to go to output source. Okay, and again, you guys can't see this right now, but you will see very shortly, because I'm going to be switching out basically my program, not to be recording and live streaming my program, but I want to be live streaming and recording my multi-view screen specifically for this video. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's scroll down to program out. I want it to be set to multi-view. And now you guys have a view of my multi-view. So let's come back over here to my top-down view. And now you can see this external monitor, which is connected to my HDMI output from this Stream 1. It is now showing you guys the multi-view, just so you guys can specifically see the layout of this multi-view screen. Onto the top right-hand side, as you guys can see, we have the program, that big image. That is what is being recorded ideally or being live streamed to your viewers. Onto the top left-hand side of the multi-view screen, as you guys can see, that is my preview, the PVW, and therefore that is just basically a preview on what you potentially may want to switch to. So you can basically call up any one of your inputs, for an example, and you can just kind of preview it, kind of get it ready, just to kind of make sure before you go live, you switch to your live stream or to your recording, it just looks good and everything's kind of the way that you like it. So next over here across the multi-view screen, you can see that we do have my 4 HDMI inputs, input 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you see, it's also showing the resolution. As I talked about, HDMI inputs 1 and 2 support up to 4K 60 frames per second. I currently have it set to 4K 30 frames per second, HDMI input 1 and 2. And here we have HDMI input number 3, which is my top-down view camera, set to 1080p 30 frames per second, which is actually technically set to 29.97. That's just the way my camera is actually configured. So I just left it as that because I did not notice any major difference. And finally, To the right hand side over there, we have my PTZ camera, which is the OBSBot tail air, 1080p, 30 frames per second. So it's nice to see all of my inputs nice and laid out over here onto my multi-view screen. As we make our way towards the bottom, starting off onto the left hand side, you can see that we do have a small little box as well, which is labeled as auxiliary, which I've actually have it configured to be playing a video from the SD card. So I basically just have a pre-recorded video that I may want to introduce into my live streamer recording, and that's exactly what I did. I have it over here ready to go to play into my live stream. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Let's press auxiliary to bring it up into our preview. Let's go ahead and turn off this chroma key over here. So let's go ahead and make a cut into our program so we can actually view that video into my program, into my live stream. So I'm just going to go and press the cut button over here. Bingo. And now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and press the play button so that a program, that auxiliary video can actually play. Perfect. So we can actually pause the video, we can restart the video, and as you see, that video does also have audio behind it as well. So that video is pre-recorded, edited onto my PC. I just loaded it onto the SD card and now I'm playing it. And to the right hand side of the stream one, that is actually where I have that SD card inserted, which is allowing me to record this video onto that SD card and also play back images and videos, etc. So it's really nice that we do have that option. Let's go ahead and play the rest of this auxiliary video by pressing the play button. Perfect. I think that's fantastic. I really do like that. Let's go ahead and briefly just look at the next one over here in my multi-view screen onto the bottom left. As you can see, it's labeled as PAT, the pattern. Basically, it's just like an image that I could use as my background, as you guys saw. So let's just go ahead and switch to that by pressing this pattern button into the preview. I can go ahead and make a cut and introduce that image into my live stream if I want to. Now we're basically working over here onto the right-hand side, bottom right-hand side. As you can see, we do have quite a bit of information. So let's just start off onto the top left hand side. As you can see, that time is ticking. It is basically showing that I am recording. It's been about 27-minute recording currently right now, and it's also showing the file size of this current recording that I'm recording right now, and it's also showing me how much space is left as well. You can see that I have 244 gigs remaining onto this SD card. Just next to that, we do have a bunch of zeros, and you can see that the kbps, the kilobits per second, so that the information is as far as my live stream. Just next over there, we do have the time and along with the date, which is nice. And onto the right hand side over there, you can see that we do have these two little logos displayed. So we can actually display these PNG logos at any point throughout our live stream by just simply pressing the logo button. So we have logo 1 and logo 2. So just to go ahead and quickly demonstrate, I'm going to either press the logo button, which is going to bring those logos into my preview, or if I wanted to, I can press the on air button for logo 1 or the on air button for logo 2. And now, as you can see, it is onto my program over there onto the top left or to my top right. And we can adjust the sizing and the position of those logos if we want to. Let's just move along over here to the bottom. As you can see, we do have our audio section over here, our program, our 4 inputs, the auxiliary, mic 1 and mic 2. So as you can see right now for this video, I do have the program being recorded, the audio. All my 4 HDMI inputs are muted because I do not need any audio currently coming from my 4 HDMI inputs. So I just basically turned those audio for those 4 HDMI inputs totally off. Next to there, we do have the auxiliary. You can see that it's highlighted in blue as well, which is the audio coming from that video. I wanted to play that audio from that auxiliary video, so I obviously have that enabled. And microphone number 1, which is the wireless microphone that I'm using, you can see it's also turned on and it's highlighted in blue. And we can adjust the levels for those audio inputs, for an example. So why don't I just go ahead and demonstrate for the auxiliary for this purpose of this video, because I don't want to adjust my microphone audio right now. So how do we do that? We can either do that within the menu, or we can easily access it right over here onto the Stream 1. So let's press auxiliary. Perfect. You can see now it's flashing the auxiliary button. And now I can use these arrow buttons either up or down to raise or lower the audio. Okay, so here's a quick little example. I just lowered the audio of the auxiliary and I just raised back up the audio for that auxiliary. And just like that, it's nice and easy to be able to control. And I can do the same thing for any one of my audio inputs. And microphone number 2, as you see, it's off because I do not have anything connected. As far as the camera speed, as you see onto the right hand side, so that is basically our PTZ controls. So remember, we have the PTZ controls of those PTZ cameras right here onto the Stream 1. It's just basically telling us the speed and which camera you actually have control of. Finally, onto the very far right hand side at the bottom, you can see that we do have our transition set to mix at 0.5 of a second. So right now, as you guys see, I've been just using the cut button to do a nice straight clean cut. But if I wanted to, I can press the auto button. And now it's going to be basically doing a mix transition, okay? And we can switch between our transitions right over here. So right now you can see that it's set to mix, and I have the time duration just below that. So right now 0.5, or I can switch it to 1. And now when I do a cut, it's going to be basically 1 second transition. Or if I wanted to do a custom one, which I can configure in the menu, it's currently set to 2 seconds. And now when I press the auto button, it's going to take 2 seconds of that mix transition. So as you guys can see, we have the cut button, we have the auto button, which is going to automatically do that transition, or we also do have this fade to black option as well. And again, once you enable the fade to black, if you want to come back on to your live stream, you need to disable it. And as you guys see here, the typical T-bar handle, we can also do that transition as well. So depending on how slow we move this T-bar handle is going to make that transition as well. So I like to keep mine to either just a nice clean cut, but depending on your needs or what you like to do, you can kind of do that all over there. Since we're talking about transitions, let's go over here to the wipe button. Let's press the wipe. Now the wipe is highlighted, okay? It's illuminated there. And now when I go ahead and press the cut button, it's going to do a wipe transition. So we have several different transitions available within the menu settings. And again, this is just quickly demonstrating the wipe. Next over here, we do have dip. So why don't we go ahead and enable the dip? So now when I press the auto button or the T-bar handle, it's going to dip to a color. So we can select any color and configure that within the menu. Now what I want to do is actually open up the menu and take a look at briefly some of the options and settings that we have available.